I'm going to explain to you why you haven't become the person that you strive to be. It's for three main reasons. The first being you lack confidence in that you can actually change. The second being that you lack belief in that you're actually strong enough to withstand the struggle. And the third is your environment. So to start with the first, you lack confidence. That stems from a few different things. The main thing being that as time goes on, as we grow older, as we age, we're continuously being programmed to an extent by society. And if we have no backbone, if we have no courage to say otherwise or say, you guys go that way, I'm going to go this way, we kind of, with time, just reflect those around us. And assuming that you want to do something great, you want to do something ambitious, you want to do something bold, not everyone's doing that. Most people aren't. Most people choose the comfortable route. Most people choose the familiar route. I'm assuming that's not what you're after. And in order to develop the habits, the thought patterns, the subconscious behavior to set ourselves up and give ourselves a proper foundation to go ahead and pursue such a path and develop things like strong confidence and firm belief in that we can transform who we are. We can achieve the things that we want to do. We are capable of paving the way. We really need to prioritize what we're inputting through our eyes, through our ears, because it's all really important. It all adds up. We might not consciously be, taking note of it, but it matters. Our subconscious picks up on everything, whether you know it or not. If you don't know it now, you'll know it eventually, and it's better to recognize it now than later because then it might be too late. Or maybe not necessarily too late, but these things just become harder to reverse with time. The deeper the seed is planted and the more time it has to sprout and grow its roots, the harder it is to get rid of it. And the way that we can do that, the way that we can control what we're inputting into our subconscious mind is through isolation to an extent. Now, I don't mean lock yourself in your room and don't talk to anybody. That's unhealthy. But I do mean that, look, if you have a group of friends who talk about nonsense all day, when they hang out, they don't do things that align with your priorities. Maybe they have bad habits, unhealthy ways of thinking, or even family, or just people in general. You have to distance yourself from these people. Now, I understand that there are certain situations where it's a little tricky. Maybe your parents aren't supportive of what you do, and that's a little bit more meticulous to navigate, but there is a way. There is always a way. What I used to do, because I was in a pretty rough environment for a considerable amount of time and I couldn't change it because I was too young. I put on my headphones and I watched every motivational video I could find on YouTube. I listened to music that was like high energy, high vibration. It made me excited. It helped me visualize and imagine an ideal future. And I became almost obsessed with this visualization to the point where it didn't really matter what was happening in front of my eyes because the vision that I had in my head was so strong. I was so invested. I was so immersed in it. This future reality that I was creating for myself. The motivation it gave me, the excitement it gave me, the drive that it gave me outweighed everything else. Meditation is also a very good method that you can utilize. Again, the type of music you listen to, the type of content that you consume. It's all very, very important. And the more that you can control that and the more you pay attention to it, the easier it's going to be to develop things like confidence in yourself so that, again, you can really have a strong foundation to stand on when you do finally make the decision to fully commit to this path. The second reason is that you don't believe that you are actually strong enough to withstand the struggle. I see it so many times where people say they're going to commit, they say they're going to lock in, and then they make efforts, a couple weeks, a month, and then they face a barrier, whether it be physical or mental. And I think it's daunting to an extent because the thought of, man, I don't know if I can really put up with this time and time again. I don't know how long I'll be able to withstand struggle like this because that's real. When you hit a roadblock, a strong roadblock, and maybe you get into a rut, maybe something unlucky happens, maybe you miscalculated something, or I don't know, things happen, right? Like as you go throughout whatever your thing is that you're pursuing, things come up, roadblocks pop up, you face adversity, there's endless challenges, you face failure, you hit dead ends. We know this. But it's one thing to think about these things and take note of it mentally and then actually stand face to face with adversity. And I think the thought of, I don't know when I'm going to win. I might have to do this for the next 2, 3 years before I see any success. I don't know if I can endure the struggle that long. I don't know if it's worth it. Maybe I don't win in the end. Maybe I end up just putting myself through pain and struggle and confusion and doubt and whatever else for X amount of time and I get nothing out of it in the end. So, you know what? Maybe I will just go the comfortable route. You're losing belief in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, you really have nothing there. You have nothing to stand on. That's why the first reason that I mentioned is so important. But the reality is you are strong enough because you are God's creation. Now, I haven't believed in God my whole life. I'm not a super religious person. Um, I would be lying if I said that I was always loyal to God. There was a point in my life where I really did not like the idea of God, given my past, and I regret to admit that, but it's the truth. So I'm not saying this from like a religious high horse or whatever, but it's true. You must recognize that you have a creator. And the reason that is so significant is because if you were created in God's image, that means you're put here for a purpose. You are put here to fulfill something. So if you know that you have a purpose, whether you know what that is yet or not, why would he create you to be incapable of fulfilling it? It just doesn't really make sense when you think about it. So you are strong enough. You have all the tools. You have the endurance. You have the strength. But if you listen to the devil, if you listen to evil, the opposing forces in this world that try and stray you away from that path, that's how evil works. It deceives and manipulates you to lose faith. It lies to you. Um, it tells you that it does everything in its power to strip you of your belief, confidence in yourself, belief in that you will win. It tries to blind you from your own strength. So I think at moments when you feel weak, when you begin to lose that faith, that belief in that you are capable, it's important to remember your origin, where you come from. You were created by God. What does that's a, think about that. You were created by God. That's a pretty significant, powerful thing. With that, there's nothing in this world that you cannot do. Recognize that power. and become close to it. The third reason is your environment. Now, I understand that there are certain cases where you simply cannot affect your environment, right? You can't affect where you live, whether it's because it's of age or finance. Sometimes it's just something you have no say in. Now, in that case, again, visualization, what I mentioned earlier, is a very, very, very powerful tool. Don't underestimate the power of your mind. If you can really become in tune with it and you take the time to be with it, you can use visualization as a tool to really almost teleport yourself into an alternate reality. And that might sound weird or outlandish or extreme or whatever, but it's a really, really powerful tool. We're talking about the imagination here. And if you think of anybody who's done anything great in this world, if you think about anybody who's invented something amazing, something revolutionary, if you think about some of the most profound artists, whether it's in music or painting or poetry, everything starts with the imagination. It's an idea, it's a thought. And the more you can kind of mold this thought and mature it and kind of paint the picture, make it become more detail oriented, the more you can immerse yourself in it, the more it becomes real. And the more you empower that, the more you can become connected to it, the stronger that vision will be. And that will be a beacon for you. If you're in an environment that you can't change or you don't have much control over, and it's really limiting your ability to be creative or have ambitious thoughts or, remove that ceiling, those limiting beliefs, and get into a headspace that is motivating and driven. Having that strong vision, again, will be your beacon. It'll be your light to look to. And that gives you direction. That gives you orientation. Having a strong vision allows you to, it gives you the ability to say what is right and wrong, what's a right direction and what's a wrong direction, what's a smart choice and what's a poor choice. Now, to extend that, our environment also consists of friends. If you're spending all of your time around friends who, again, do not have their priorities straight, if you're spending your time around friends who are drinking and smoking and playing video games all day and going to the club and just talking about unproductive things, things that really will get no one anywhere, it certainly is not going to be good for you. And if you really want to do something great in this world, if you want to be the one that paves the path, if you want to be the bold one, there's really not a lot of margin for error in that regard. And it's easy when you're young to think like, well, it's okay, I'm young, I can have fun, I can get wild, I can be reckless a little bit. I'm like, yeah, some people, that's perfectly fine. But this is a different type of life that we're pursuing. This is a stricter path. But at the end of it, you are rewarded with boundless fulfillment, a strong sense of purpose, a strong sense of meaning. You will be able to inspire others, those around you, your family, and you will have freedom. If you take the risks, if you put in the work, if you continuously show up, and your focus and priority is on improving yourself and developing your skills and becoming a better person, strengthening your mind, you will be a person that attracts freedom in all realms of life, financially, location wise, time wise. I think that kind of future, that kind of lifestyle is what attracts most of us. It's what sparks that thought, and it's more than money. Money is money is a thing, and it helps us do other things, more things, but there's something deeper there. Those who get to the end of that path, they don't get there. They didn't have the sustainability or the longevity or the grit or tenacity because they were money hungry. That's cheap. And it's a short this it's not enough. With some things, yes, but what we're speaking of, what we're after, it's not enough. There's something much, much deeper. So you have to prioritize who you spend your time with, the things that you spend your time doing in your free time. It all matters a lot, especially when you're young. Before, I think your brain, I'm not exactly sure, but I think your brain stopped developing around 23 to 25, something like that. But as you get older, it's harder to change. So now is where it's when it's most important to adopt these good habits, to program your subconscious mind to be optimized, to work in your favor. Like that's the goal. Your subconscious, you want to program your subconscious mind in a manner that it almost works for you. But you can't do that if you're reckless with your environment. If you really genuinely focus on improving these three things, you will become the person that you strive to be. But it's going to take some time. It is a process. You're going to have to be patient. But that's fine. Find joy in that. Enjoy the process. Cherish it because it really is a beautiful thing. You are undergoing a transformation. Think like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. That's a beautiful thing. And that's what's happening to you right now. So observe it in a way, romanticize it, and be grateful for the present moment. It's easy when you are so focused on the future, what your future is going to look like, to take for granted the present moment. It's something I struggle with. I'm not perfect. But it's extremely important because if you are not, the present is all we have at the end of the day. We're not guaranteed tomorrow, friends. We simply are not. But if you can find that balance, if you can be goal oriented, if you can be driven to pursue a way of living, if you can be motivated to improve yourself and work towards something, and also remember to cherish the present moment and appreciate it, I think that's where you want to be at. But hopefully you got something out of this video. Thank you for your time, and I will see you soon.